is kind of nice because they can just kind of let them focus on tunnels and say, hey, look, just catch them when they're coming out, right? It kind of comes down to Spinks, though, and that was really why the mid-B defense kind of faulted them, I think, in the first matchup, is that it just seemed like Spinks and Zealots weren't always on the same page. So that has to be corrected in this game, in my opinion. And you're right. When you talk about when they're going to go on the attack, yeah, it's like, Zealots, this is your first time in a big arena environment with a huge crowd yelling where you're going to be the guy. Like, Xerxion's passing you the ball. Like, that is one of the things that Xerxion has done in the IGL slot is, you know, be a little bit more selfless because he realizes that he's more important leading rather than being like the star entry fragger of the squad or something like that. So it's about how Zealots responds to those interactions, especially going up against, you know, a guy like Lanteres, who is very dangerous on this map, and he's going to be battling him a lot in some of these really key battlegrounds that you're going to have on Dust 2. But the other big thing for me that I kind of want to wonder about is Spinks a little bit, because Spinks has always been the pillar of MOUZ Sports, in my opinion. He's been their most consistent performer. He's often their highest ranked player when you look around, and he's had kind of a shaky group stage. He's moved into a lot of Jimmy's old roles in a lot of cases. And the transition hasn't maybe gone as smoothly as people hope. This is just not the numbers you expect from Spinks, right? You know, he kind of keeps his same roles, though, on Dust 2, so that's kind of nice. That's one of the maps he hasn't had to change things up, but they need him to be more of the Spinks we know of to have a chance against the Firepower on Aurora.
I'm going to throw you a different idea, and you can tell me if I'm just talking out of my behind or not, which I often do because I'm a host, so I don't have to know these things. I think it's really good of Spinks, actually, that he's the one who stepped up and said, you know what, I'm going to take those spots. I'm a veteran. It's on me. We're not going to give Zealots the ass rolls. I'll take them, you know, and I'll get there. I'll do what I need to do.
Well, to be fair, he kind of wanted some of them, if I'm going to be honest. Like on some of the maps, like Inferno, he really wanted the apartments role. So it's kind of been give and take, but I like your thought.
Thanks very much. Well, we'll talk about it later. But for now, guys, it's a PGL event. They would never sell you short. So the two commentators bringing you this one, they've walked to the top of their craft. From the pages of Reddit, the pages of Yahoo. We are now bringing you Scrawny and Launders in their Barys Arena debut.
Thank you, Richard. Always so smooth, Mo. We've got MOUZ and we've got Aurora, and as the desk has now just beat, it is going to be one of these teams to take a win on a stage, and that's going to feel good for either squad.
Yeah, today is like a really stacked quarterfinals day, and what's really interesting is the amount of debuts and the IGL debuts. Later we'll have Kerrigan doing that for Falcons, and this one here is going to be special for Xerxion because of the pressure on stage. But as they brought up on that great desk just now, bringing in JL solves so many issues on paper, but now we're going to find out if he solves them live.
Yes, let's hope he can tap into that kind of wealth of experience he has. We've seen the numbers of Spinks dwindle, we've seen the struggles of Torji live, and now it is time to see which of them can step it up when it matters most and the spotlights fall upon them. So Aurora Gaming to the T side, and your first quarterfinal Astana is officially underway.
And something interesting already, they've taken a long control without any resistance whatsoever, but it isn't a 5-long play. Teams have smoked this. There's so much pressure on this side of the map, but look what's happened in a fantastic call from Aurora as they easily walk into an open B site.
Damn, eh? Already one of these. We go back to that qualification game for the playoffs, just sprinkling in these perfect calls. And I'm thinking particularly with Overpass was Major, and so props to the in-game leadership he's brought to this event.
Oh my goodness, you didn't see that.
You know, he hunts by movement, I hear.
Now there is a chance for the retake.
He shouldn't be, but Woxic, you're right. All of a sudden under pressure. He's got 3 players coming out from tunnels behind him. Soulfly's down to 14 health. Major's going to be a late arrival out from middle. Soulfly draws him forward. We were wondering what he could offer. 3 kills in the pistol that should have been Aurora's from the get-go. What a tilting loss that would have been had MOUZ been able to retake. It's still costly.
Oh, he got the knife! He got a flying knife!
Cash for your efforts. And already 1 round into this game, we got fireworks and sparks from Soulfly.
Oh, not only do they sneak into an open B site, they get a bomb plant for the money, they get a knife kill at the end, and the flowers go to Soulfly as he gets the kill from Big Box. If he doesn't get that frag, it's an instant defuse. This kill right here is maybe the most impressive one. I don't know. It's debatable. They were all pretty amazing.
That instant headshot as well on the plat swing is clean.
Well, that's a great start because we bigged him up. Des bigged him up. We saw what he did to qualify into playoffs. He was a massive reason for Aurora. They spent a lot of time trying to justify the replacement of Jota to give him a chance. And they've done that.
There's an M4 here. There's an M4 and a scout behind it. That could be lethal. Xerxin kind of floating out here as his scout takes damage in the process. Now, at least Aurora know about it, but we're going to see how they try to adapt to it. Xerxin goes back wide. Op shot over top of him. He's got a nade if he wants to open this, but instead tries to play the edges of the smoke, and that's where Soulfly will best him. We get this activation of the Cadia MAC-10, and so they're just going to chew back through it.
Man, this is already a really good-looking Aurora. Just how much conviction there is in the calls, the 6-1 start here for Soulfly. He grabs another 2 in this following round, and there was a bit of pressure and an investment. Nothing gets stolen back. Too many deaths here for MOUZ. Only 1 on Aurora. They'll make a lot of money. Their T side on Dust 2 starts off correctly. Again, this quarterfinals and all the quarterfinals today have so many, maybe the most underrated game could be the 9Z versus Magic game, really, because, again, 9Z looked like a team that might be the strongest coming into playoff, form-wise, and Magic earned their way definitely into a playoff spot on merit. But I'm not sleeping on anybody. I don't feel like there are true favorites right now, especially with the debuts in place. The quality of gameplay is one thing, but now that we have a full house in the stadium, and the fact, again, that a team like Vitality isn't here to just say we get a free grand finals at the very minimum, I think that adds extra pressure to everybody else.
Surely the door feels ajar, and I think that this is a great game for 2 teams that could have a surprisingly higher ceiling than you would have expected coming in. Woxic going to be fast for that pick. Maui Snake gave him his flowers on the desk, discussing how apt he is when it comes to damaging players on the cross or just picking players through those doors. A constant threat for MOUZ throughout this CT side is going to be Woxic, and we see him just weaponized towards long for the opening 5v4. And we'll see what happens once there's actual guns in his face to try to handle that kind of aggression. Seems like just a couple measly weapons can still find kills, as it's going to be that Zelix and Torzi combo, which finds an upgrade, right? MP9 goes over to the AK. That's a 3rd potential weapon for the retake, and if JL could open the door with a Desert Eagle, all of a sudden things get very sketchy, but a couple of grenades will find him. That's the first Cat player down. The fire fizzles out on bomb site, and all of a sudden you have to wonder, how do you get back into this if you're MOUZ?
They missed a smoke grenade this round, an HE, but they still got it together, and it's an overall clean entrance. And even though there was some early damage here for MOUZ, it's only resulted in the 1 kill. Again, we're keeping an eye on the kill count because it's going to result in Aurora just having such a buffed economy minutes into the game.
That's why I think we see them trying to press for damage on the exit. Aurora remain very worried about exactly that. This AK from outside B site might swing.
Scout is here, but no shot in.
Just moved off door. So Zelix hangs on to the AK-47. If Xantares doesn't come run him down.
This is already such a high level of quality that we're seeing in a very small sample size of rounds here for Aurora. But it's enough to show us that they're very comfortable, and they're showing us exactly how good they were in their qualification match. That's translating very well now to the stage.
We talk about Madger kind of trying to refine Aurora for 2026. Obviously much easier than MOUZ, who have to come in with 2 new pieces and a new role for the likes of Xerxin.
And it's easier in one sense, but there was a lot of doubts about him as a caller, and I think that individual journey, you might have to face, I might not be good enough to be a good caller, even if I'm putting in the effort. Well, he seems to be proving that wrong, because he has absolutely called some fantastic rounds so far. They're unique to Aurora, they're really effective, and they've been giving credit to the round based on the calling alone in so many more situations.
See how he calls his way out of this one. We get this cross between Xerxin and JL.
He's looking for his first kill.
Flash binds JL. He will go down with nothing, and Xerxin can't manage that second one. So effective trade from Wicadia. Third defender's here. Eats the
flashes.
Never gets a chance to fire back, and now you've got not only multi-kills from Soulfly, but a triple out of Wicadia versus MOUZ's first gun round.
Yeah.
And so the desk said it. Not only does Madger have to find and refine his calling and bring that up a notch for 2026, but also the reliability of some of the individuals from Aurora also has to continue to deliver, and this is exactly what you look for a winning formula on Aurora. It goes beyond Xantares this year. It goes beyond Wicadia and Soulfly and Woxic's op presence. It's that collective consistency that Aurora are hoping to tap into, and this is the sort of first gun round that might make you believe today's the day to do that.
Always wondered about the talent pool over in Turkey, and Aurora have managed to find a lot of them. I mean, from their academy system as well, there have been impressive prospects. They developed them well, very underrated in that regard. And obviously a lot of credit for being a national team and only having that smaller pool to pick from. But it's working out. And again, for IGLs, that's probably the hardest part. But that goes for anybody. You just don't find tier 1 IGLs or IGL prospects all over the place. And I think Madger put it on himself to be that guy. I mean, what we have to see here is that everybody's blind. It is perfect on the long hit. And even though it looks like it's scrappy and fast, that they have protocols to make sure that everything's safe as well. We have the timeout, and Xerxin in the interview with James before the game started called Cyclone, you know, what he believes is the best coach in the game. And everybody has always viewed him as maybe the most underrated pick, you know, but obviously because MOUZ can't lift those trophies, it's hard for coaches to be given the same level of credit as another who does. It's kind of a black box that we can't really see into that often. But what we do know when it comes to developing talent, making roster moves, there always seems to be the right amount of thought behind it. And again, with this lineup, as Maui said, it looks like they haven't missed a beat.
Up through tunnels, flashed off the line. Soulfly will be happy for the duel, and there's nothing at that B site to stop it. Not to mention, you're going to get this whiff shot from Torzi, who should be lucky that he's still alive, even on 10 health. Call it quits. This round is done for, and Aurora just stomp their way to yet another round win.
Incredible how they're picking the place of least resistance every time they go for an exec, starting from the pistol, walking into the B site where it's empty off of fake. And now they haven't really faked. They've just put a little bit of pressure in a default and instantly moved into a choke point. This time, as we can see, there's only one guy in the B site. There is no connectivity in mid. And maybe if Torzi had gotten that shot, honestly, if Torzi got that shot, maybe they go for a retake, they don't win and lose even more players. It could be a blessing in disguise.
To return to your conversation about the coach and how Cyclone kind of gets his credit, but then also wasn't able to maybe elevate into trophy lifters, I think that's one of those conversations where we start to look to the supportive elements that other teams have. We know that Na'Vi always give their psychologists credit. You know that Vitality speak of mentality outside of the server, and you have these extra pieces. It's always felt like, even since the NXT days, Cyclone's supposed to do it all. I mean, the guy's even a masseuse for this team to try to bring them out of those dark spots. And so now, knowing MOUZ have this extra supportive element in 2026, sure, there's the difficulty of the onboarding, but what does that change for them moving forward? In this gun round, moved forward easily by just that one death in the previous. What I'd like to see is Torzi hit that shot, but he misses his chance. Difficult one over the suicide box, but it could have been that 5v4 that MOUZ need to stop this momentum.
And we are at the point where maybe you do need to hit the difficult shots to find some leverage.
Anything.
So they put what is basically the minimum amount of pressure back against Aurora. Want to take long, and they get it instantly. JL alone now. Xerxin does not have a flash for him inside of the pit.
Op tiptoes onto the line, already held. Oof, that's Madger dead towards catwalk. Pit player activates. JL finds a dink, but he doesn't find a kill. It is Spinks towards that Madger climb up that keeps MOUZ in this somewhat. Problem for MOUZ is there's a second layer in the form of Wicadia. He'll take his duel up cat. That Spinks down to the half health. Xerxin, it's head tucked here towards Car. But as they emerge out through that smoke, he's going to pop up. Which target does he shoot at first? He doesn't know which of these players are low, but it's two backs turn, and so Ramp's withheld. And that Opera's now under pressure because the push comes out, and you've got MOUZ on the brink of the scoreboard, but Wicadia is going to try to gun you down.
The double spray down from Wicadia on the ramp.
Close, but no cigar.
The story was supposed to be exertion from the groups. Good every single match. Finally saves a round here for MOUZ, and instead it gets ripped away.
You finally feel like your game is alive. You finally feel like you've pulled off the right move, and you get stomped on in a 1v2 by Wicadia.
I mean, I want to call it a turning point, but it's just Aurora continuing with what's happened. Nothing's changed now. That clutch could have been massive for MOUZ. They make one mistake of not clearing car, and they still get away with it. A trade you absolutely need.
You know, it's gut-wrenching in that situation. There was a lot of question around only Zelex today from the desk, right? He's the least experienced. And so he is the player that's meant to trade that on ramp. His teammate loses his head instantly. He gets that split second to find the frag. He doesn't. How shook is he now?
They're coming in. Two players on a headshot angle, knowing where he is. He should have died.
Every single time. And yet here we are with the flawless start to the T side. Another fight for Xerxin, and he'll collect the multi-kill. Trying to put that rifle where it works. 5v3 advantage for MOUZ. And that bomb's still a bit of a distance from Woxic. And so being met by a smoke here is going to cause Aurora to slow down. They've got ample time to still try to figure this round out.
I'm going to go out on a limb and assume that this is the first round that MOUZ will finally get in this game. And it is, you know, that 1v2 clutch. But what's interesting...
we're not talking enough, guys. We're not doing enough. We're not talking enough. We're not pre-planning enough.
Oh, okay. Before the round starts, that's where Xerxin has some words for his team. And I swear that is some of the most important reminders that you can give. It's the advice that seems the most obvious, but it's always relevant when you're on stage in Tier 1.
Sometimes you hear something kind of generic like that, and you just think, like, well, anybody could have said it. But the point is, somebody has to say it. And if you don't have that kind of man inside of you, if you're not a captain, well, you can also be a part of the problem, shell up, etc. So it's cool to see Xerxin trying to find that new responsibility.
It looks like JL might find his first frag of the game here. Yeah, he's on the board.
So 4 up for MOUZ. Would have loved to have added that last round to the board first, but hey, at this point, you just need to stop the bleeding, and they'll do that in round 7.
Sometimes when you go quiet in these moments, it's easy to do it and not even realize that you've stopped talking. And I think that, yeah, verbalizing it like Xerxin did can be really important. Even if, again, it might seem so obvious. Why would you have to? Because I think that also means that you know at your best, the only thing missing is the comms. Already shown what kind of dust 2 they have, what kind of rounds they can play. But I think they look over to the other side of this stage and they see Aurora doing all the things and clearly communicating well, and they go, yeah, we can obviously do that too.
Just have to find a way to tap into it. And then beyond that, let's say communication does get online, we're going to need some more firepower for MOUZ as well. This Torzy JL 1-kill situation can't continue through this half. Not when we've gotten multi-kill potential from multiple pieces of Aurora. So they've each found their first, sometimes the hardest.
And I think sometimes we see JL, he's gotten hard countered, but my real concern is Torzy, because even in their last series, I think he barely skated by with his performance. And now he's missing more shots. They won't win this game without him, and we were worried about Woxic, but he already quelled our doubts in their last match. He got it together. He got 4 clutches in their series. He looks confident again.
He's having his worst event of the year coming into that 2-2 game. found himself, upended those negative expectations. Has tapped into 6 kills in 7 rounds of play. We get to 45 seconds with all 10 players up. We get this crawl out through middle. As Xerxin still postured on the CT box. This could get weird here. He's lost the timing. Major actually pushes through this. Oh, Xerxin able to pick up the frag. The man advantage his. MOUZ 5v4. Sit in anticipation. Woxic would love to find somebody over the edge of this smoke, but it's not going to happen. And now exposed, tagged down to 13 health Wicadia.
And it's crazy because they have long control. They just haven't actually exited those doors. All the CTs are here grouped up on the A site, casually watching towards long, but hoping that it's not going to be that take. And time will expire. Aurora will end up saving with 4 players alive. This will be sweat off the brow of MOUZ, who are just happy to get around to build up their bank accounts. Whatever's going on with Torzy right now, he just needs to get over it because he should be full of motivation. You know, you can't always pick the days that you are in perfect form, but whatever cobwebs are around in his mind, I mean, it's not like he's the one joining a new team. He knows how to play in this system. Him and Xerxin have played together for so many years now. And I'm sure that there's trust across the table from the both of them. Some of the calls that Major has been making, just slicing through these sites like butter. It's so easy for him, for some reason, even before the information really comes in, to identify the weakness. But how many times can he do that?
Oh, Xerxin in transition. Ooh, awkward. Yeah, and
wow, that's so aggressive.
Even worse by the fact that he just suddenly pulls that nade out. So the pop of Aurora catching him off guard. Woxic through the doors. You come to expect it almost. Soulfly's got a challenge on ramp. You'll lose that one, but no multi-frag off of JL. It's a one and done. And so the suddenness of that pop-up catwalk, talk me through the timing.
I love not even having really a setup phase to that attack, just going right into it. And how often do you see someone dipping into CT spawn before you're clear of the long player, jumping up on the railing to take the fight? And Torzy, man, he's got to get some of these kills. That one might have been to save his op, and it was definitely possible.
MOUZ are showing up looking like a shell of themselves.
And this is a moment, I think, you know, you've got an op on long, you have Xerxin up in CT. He's trying to delay, because if those flashes expire, then Torzy can take a re-peek, and they want to make sure they can go forward with their cat play the whole time. But I think the special moment for Aurora there is trusting their exec so much that you have the confidence to jump up on the railing and kill the CT guy first. You usually save him for later.
Xerxin wins the duel, and the Opera can't pluck JL off that edge of the smoke. There's lots of bodies here, so the rifle swings, and Soulfly done with just one. Here's Torzy, rattling off his shot, letting Woxic know there's 2 players back here. He's got 2 players occupied, and Xerxin's had enough. A peek out of nowhere for Major.
You saw that.
Would love to try to test this smoke, so he gives himself that underhanded flash, gets Spinks off the line, Molotov to the back of sight. Major's just cranking the pressure here. And as he goes back into cover, the bomb carrier's soon to arrive. Wicadia will take it down. It's got a smoke to cross, and they found their opening.
It's the aggression. They just can't handle it right now. The fact that he was willing to get that kill and just take it into a sight hit, had a Molotov for the plan. His teammate was ready to run in after him. Wicadia, on full HP, is making the golden move. You've got a low player holding the site.
It's Wicadia full health. It's a low player on the flank. Major trying to take his sweet time with this. Wicadia just needs to survive. And as they sit outside of the window, there's the flank for Major, perfectly timed. Low HP Xerxin. He sits, he waits, he knows he has to get through this door. He also has to ace. And with this amount of time, it's not gonna happen. Aurora, the evolution of that round on a moment's notice, and the fact that Major was tucked into that long corner, or tunnel corner, to catch the push off guard, blindsided by the right side of things. I mean, just ready to evolve if this goes south.
Yeah, and it, you know, started off not great here. I mean, great for Xerxin with another multi-kill hold. 3 frags in the round, and they end up losing.
There's so many fine timings in this round between the tunnel peek, between the move to the B site, between that mid flank and the post plant, and Aurora come out on top of all of those timings.
It's another moment where it's, again, you can clearly see the communication is great. Because the best time to take those risks, you know, when you're down numbers, is right away. When the structure hasn't been set to take advantage. Oh, and a good kill here. Torzy smoke behind him to try to bait that fight out. And now gun sticking out. Soulfly, perfect position in front of that smoke. Man, 1 kill back. Don't give 2. Oh, man. These are huge errors now.
That's an 11th frag for Soulfly. Torzy will land a shot up the catwalk. He's got a multi-frag this round.
I mean, they kind of know that he's alone. They've taken out 2 players on A. He might feel he needs to do it all himself, and it looks like he might be able to.
His first multi-kill round. And he's got everything thus far for MOUZ. Pushes forward, which will have him dodging Soulfly, but there's about to be this mid climb up, and Woxic, who's carrying the bomb, is meant to be caught in between, but oh god, he's
just forward, yeah, because he knows that he's gonna get flanked on the A site. He can't stay there forever.
Nobody winds up climbing the Xbox to clear that close catwalk, so the Opera gets blindsided, and we'll see if Torzy's 3K's all in vain. What a plant here for Woxic, but he doesn't expect that flank out of Zelix. We'll get one more for MOUZ at least.
That's
a third round via retake.
Such a clutch kill for Xerxin. I think, you know, even in the repeat, you could have played that 2v2 differently, but he was honestly at such a disadvantage after getting spotted. Had to be a headshot for Xerxin. He's delivering mechanically. The main reason MOUZ are getting rounds. And Torzy staying up here to get the kills is excellent. I mean, it's probably great for the confidence. Dodging the flashes is also good. And when Aurora were coming up Cat, they thought eventually he has to leave because they've lost long control. They've lost their 2 A players. And so it's not safe for him. And eventually, they do put enough pressure to get him killed. But by that point, he had already done his job. Oh, wow, that was scary. Woxic gets away with it. He is such a threat on Dust 2. No kill off this peak.
Torzy wants another round with impact before he has to kick off the T side. He's kind of missed that timing on stopping Aurora from taking over this portion of the map. Flash around the corner, so MOUZ, they won't be strangers to this info. They hear the rumblings of a cat take, but the question is how many bodies actually there? Well, Torzy, remember, saw nothing.
They get some B presence off the lurk smoke. Torzy doesn't see anything in mid, so they immediately think it's A. This has pulled Torzy away.
That's bomb. Madger has walked the bomb through the mid doors on his own, and so they have to follow him.
Yeah,
They've got to. He's just going to jump.
The flash is coming, but it won't hit.
Spinks is just good for the 1. Zelix out of the window, time to be the hero. A ton of pressure on him. He knows that player's still in tunnels, but it's all about when that timing comes through. For the time being, he's got a separated duel. The mid-hold goes well thanks to that smoke fading CT, and so the timings just get a little weird, but Wicadia does open up this B site. It's all about getting the bomb back, and they're all so ready to swing off contact. So MOUZ stuffing Madger and the 2 players that push out through that doors does give MOUZ a chance to double their rounds with the last 2 of the half.
Actually, another excellent call with the little bit of a fake towards B. They took advantage of Torzy, thinking that he had information through the mid double doors. And it really felt like it was going to be a fake with a tunnels lurker to hold off mid and a cat play coming in again, which again, they have to be worried about because it worked so well that previous round. But still, a formidable defense versus the mid B that came out. Overall, so much credit to Madger for the calls. To be honest, it was a fantastic half from that perspective. MOUZ had to struggle and fight to get anything going. And it was mostly back of just Xerxin multi-kills, who is right now their best player, their IGL. It's Mr. Multi-frag.
All right, Astana, I hear you. Not bad for a 10 a.m. kickoff today. So much Counter-Strike. Yet y'all are here for the very first rounds. And I think it delivers if you're an Aurora fan. That's the kind of just aggressive, confident start that looks to separate yourself from MOUZ as you have less fine-tuning coming into 2026 than this fresh roster. But as that game goes on, you start to see these multi-kills trickle in. You see Torzy's at least op impact in one. Oh, but immediately bomb dropped to a pistol shot from Soulfly. And it's just sat there now, right? Dangling on the end of a hook like bait for Aurora to really try to come and overstack it, but they still just hang on. These two players need no assistance. It is lambs to the slaughter on long doors. Sure, Spinks will bring one back, but he is attempting a 1v5 in this pistol, and while nobody has actually moved towards long, it's because they just go for the flank. Could you have asked for a better long hole?
No, you definitely couldn't have. They wove in between those two flashbangs. They hit every first peak, and it's the P2Ks to get 4 kills in that round. I can't remember the last time I've seen that. And it's crazy how we started this game off with a 3K, clutch with a knife kill out of Soulfly. He's 14-9. We didn't even really continue to say his name that much, but he's really quietly had a fantastic map after that round. We call a spade. This is where it could just get extremely ugly now for MOUZ.
Speaking of players we haven't had to say, I don't think I mentioned Xantares. What a world we live in where Xantares can go 3-7 and his team can be leading what's about to be 10-4.
Yeah, it's absolutely terrifying because sometimes you see Wakadia take the wheel in some matches, but overall, we still have to remember.
Oh, he's on for the ace. He's laughing his way through this, Wakadia. Denied by JL, of course, but that's the one and only for MOUZ in this round. It is all too easy for Aurora's pistol conversion.
We like to talk about who's up next and who's underrated, and I think that feels like Wakadia, who is improving event after event, but still Xantares is the best player on the team. He is the guy who has the highest output in some of these biggest moments, and even if that story is changing slowly, we saw. But the thing is, they don't need Xantares right now. If the round score becomes a problem, then we start to look at his score line as an issue as well. In fact, they have that extra gear just waiting. And maybe if this becomes a comeback, there will be a spotlight on him. The fact is, now that we're on CT's side, it will be easy to get that scoreline back up.
Oh, spam down. Good hold by JL.
That's nice.
Stands on the roof of the taxi.
Had to do 2 headshots through that door to lock the kill down.
Woxic tries to pick up the space. Will find damage in response. Ooh, dangerous, but there's 3 now. If he thought, yeah, you could see his disbelief on the player camera. He was very confident that there was not going to be an entire pack of MOUZ players ready for that move. Xantares will be dropped empty-handed, and so MOUZ are sliding perfectly into this bomb site. Their first gun round, taking damage on 4 of the 5 players, but not losing a duel amongst any of them.
HEs are hurting a lot, but doesn't matter how much health they have remaining. 5v2 is huge unless they finish them off. It's great to get a nice quick response into this half out of MOUZ. It's not the hardest round so far. They just win in their default, but that's the first step.
Yeah. 2 players kind of taking that duel to JL certainly helps. You get the first one in a raw 1-to-1. JL picks it up. Props to him, his 5th kill of the map. And then you get, the second push that catches Woxic entirely off guard. Not sure what he visualized. If it was just a JL 50 HP situation, but couldn't have been more off with 3 players ready for him.
Reminded me of when Tarek, speaking of another Turkish player, peeked mid into those 5 ops.
Terrorists win.
That's really not a concerning moment here for Aurora just yet. They're still quite happy. 5-round gap, everything like that, but they won't be investing that much behind this 1 M4 from Soulfly. If they had an op or something like that, they might be a serious round threat, but instead, you would expect MOUZ to not drop a situation like this.
Like the push from Wakadia, In fact, he has nothing other than this knife, so he's just gonna go for it. Legit
Oh, they
knife
hit him with
attempt.
it. Yeah, unfortunately, the flashbang actually hit his body, so there was no disguising that moment. He just went into Roomba mode. Actually pretty nice if there's a lineup for that, just to actually physically clear someone.
Caution.
Now Soulfly is one of the guys over here in this position. Just have to make sure that the bomb doesn't get overcommitted, worst case scenario.
I mean, 4 players with rifles versus Soulfly. No utility.
He's actively peeking, so...
This is the one way they could lose, is if he does it all, but he's got to do everything. He's got a pistol to try to play with. They give him these duels. He's still working with 50 health.
They have a...
JL's low, multiple bodies spotted. He is drawing them into perfection.
They're going to forget about this, man, and the CTs
Right?
are starting to rotate over.
Because the M4 takes the first fight. So because it takes the fight, now they're starting to consider it. Oh, the lineup there. It's Xershin's full health dead, still low HP. JL, no way! Think of the value they've gotten out of this. It's all dead on long.
They've actually stopped it. Soulfly with the M4. They use it on 2 players. Spinks, he has no time to win this round.
No way! They set it up to perfection. They like the M4 fight first so that the pistol player who you'd think would try to serve up a distraction can come in with the close.
Yeah, and you know Xershin heard from the excitement and the atmosphere that there was somebody there in pit, tried to turn around, but his peek got denied. And they win with no investment. A single gun saved from last round. The perfect use of it, to be honest. Woxic lives for the crowds. That's Aurora grabbing an 11th. Now this is a moment where you would get quiet if you're MOUZ, start looking around and wondering what's happening right now. But from our POV, this is so much credit going to Aurora for the fantastic game plan. I mean, even maximizing the use of pistoling players in a round like this is something that deserves credit. They just got straight up outgunned by one guy.
His engagement choices, right? The target selection. Shut out Woxic for getting that kill on a fully health Xershin with something like the 6 bullets that were left in that gun. Woxic will lap that up. And just when it felt like maybe things could shift towards MOUZ to even just get a chance to feel like they've had any footing in this game, you know, test Aurora somewhat. At this rate, if they don't win this round, Aurora are going to be lapping them out of the server, and MOUZ are walking off that stage, stepping outside and feeling so small.
Like right now, Aurora have a core of players all having incredible rounds. Xanteris hasn't even been included in that conversation yet. And meanwhile, MOUZ have one guy who's cracked 10 kills. And as great as Xershin has been as both a caller and a fragger so far, that's just not going to be enough. That's that's a lot of damage in one place.
That's some foreshadowing for you.
Setup smoke comes to see how good his timings are.
There's one. Slight chip damage, that's all. He'll go for the smoke next, then another frag grenade. They jump within it. That nade gets Spinks down low. Another frag that finds nothing, and so it's not a ton of value, as you'd expect out of 3 frags. 6 shot, Xershin's got it. And Wicadia comes out from CT spawn to at least pull him off of the play. Double peek, 3 even, over that ledge. And so they press themselves into the rotation of Aurora to just try to keep them at bay. Guarantees the plant. MOUZ find a way to push through what felt like an artillery barrage queued up.
It's not a done situation. It's actually a little bit scary. It's 2v3, so they'll take any reason to save, but if one mistake, one extra peek comes out, they will punish it.
Utility comes out, it's going to announce their approach. There's a head for Soulfly to have popped. Zelix just going to kind of tap this one in. With that kill, you see Major deterred from the follow-up, and so MOUZ go numbers strong up the catwalk. We'll see what the price tag is in the end.
Ooh, nice shot. So 3 up here for MOUZ, and this is a moment where you give credit to the setup. 3 HEs versus the... Oh, okay.
The bomb blew up, and Torzi lost the op, just for the record.
Get up. 3 nades waiting for this cap play, but honestly, they did nothing. Nades went too high, too far, wrong place. Barely got any chip damage, and it was very smart the way that MOUZ were standing to avoid some of the natural places those nades could land. But that's something that could have made a difference. And as you said, while that kill was cool, we look at this round, and MOUZ don't have that gun again.
Well, luckily for MOUZ, it's the same time Aurora don't have any. No solo M4 in pit to rob you of your momentum. It's critical for MOUZ to have won that one. We're looking at 4 rounds back and forth, no consecutive wins. This should be the difference maker.
But you just look at the setup out the gate, and it's Aurora matching their energy. This one would be beyond reproach if something went wrong. But again, like, how does Madger do it? When we were on the T side, all the calls that were coming in were perfect to go through the empty site. And it's been the exact opposite here for MOUZ. Most amount of resistance.
Considering how little Aurora have to play with, we still get down to the 45 seconds. There we go. That's why the Galil's got 35 bullets. Xerxin uses 31 of them to get through that mid-pack. And on a moment's notice, MOUZ commit to keep 4 players up, close this game to a 7-11 situation. Aurora on the brink of victory, take one on the chin last round, and already Woxic gets hands back on an op.
That's a 1 foot in front of the other situation. For MOUZ, it's not too steep of a comeback, of course. Just that the amount of pop-off that Aurora can tap into is, I feel like, what MOUZ have to be the most scared of. They're going to risk it.
Soulfly's ready. Oh, it's not who you want to run into. Wicadia doesn't even get a shot off, and Spinks will give you a double entry.
Wow, okay, that's an easy B-side take. I mean, you're not going for this one. That's round 1 really quickly. No 2K from either player. I'm surprised Wicadia didn't shoot. Sometimes, you know, our flashbangs are a little bit muted when we're watching him play, but it looked like he got vision before he got blind again. It's nice to win a round like that, because if you lost it, you hit 12, it's a B rush, you kind of feel stupid. But instead, it's a nice feather in the cap for you. Calling wise, you get it a quick one out of the way. You don't have to think too hard in a default. More Aurora going, on another round. Give us another chance at that hold. We would have held it.
Kill a piece for the
like
exits.
Free-firing taps.
Trying to bend those bullets.
So I think at least MOUZ get into dignified territory, which is really important for them in this game, because it felt like a 13-5 was coming.
Yes.
And now Aurora at least have some pressure on them. MOUZ have burned through all their pauses, but Aurora will take one. They obviously would love to not have to do this, but they've been really creative and honestly industrious with the low gun buys, and I want to say every setup. It's hard to have variety on Dust 2, and yet they've shown us that. JL, the big game player for Na'Vi. I mean, he is the reason they won the Copenhagen Major.
Literal MVP.
Yeah.
Just a matter of him tapping back into that ability. Right now, sitting at the bottom of the board alongside Torji, who's got his chance at punishing a push, but nothing comes out of it. And so Aurora, off of that pause, opt to go double 5-7. MP9, few extra utilities for the job, but already you can see the state of their grenades is barren. So we'll see if MOUZ make a mistake, because those fast moments is when something like this goes unchecked, uncleared, and Aurora could get away with it. We'll see this quick shift back towards that A side. It's a dangerous move for Xanterez, who, again, we haven't really kind of talked about negatively, but as the game gets closer, you wait for his impact, because it's been damn near non-existent. He's got 5 frags, pops up here to try to make contact on the cat play, draws util out of MOUZ, who at least have map control, but opt not to pull that trigger just yet.
This is the moment to watch Xanteris, somebody that we've said, oh, isn't really necessary. Well, now it gets close. It's also on the right side of the map. Woxic has gone head-to-head with Torzi so many times.
Taking the line as the smoke pops. Low HP of Torji spotted.
See one fall back. That's information. No second flash here.
Xertion presses the
Whoa,
smoke.
that's risky, but he doesn't get a
doesn't
bullet.
fire, and as Xanteris gets swarmed from this dropout of Xertion, it's that cat play that then just keeps pressure on smoke. But with low HP and Soulfly in the pocket, found by Spinks. Late lurk works out wonderfully, and I have to be, I'm just left scratching my head as to how Wicadia doesn't shoot a 5-7 bullet into the back of the player who wide swings doors.
I mean, he didn't even need it to be a headshot. That guy had red health. He could have hit it anywhere. Xertion and Torzi really low. I thought it was kind of a crazy call, honestly, to burst out mid in that spot, considering they had just seen him jump across the door and the op was right behind it. So really banking hard that they had faked properly on Cat, which they didn't. Woxic was there, had all the information guaranteed. So that was kind of a call. I think they skate by, they get away with it for MOUZ, but it's much scarier than it looks. Now I wonder if the pressure of actually closing this game is starting to affect Aurora, because it feels like in those specific situations, they're far more clutch in previous rounds. And there's the upgrade Madger was looking for. Any one M4 is a real threat. You can already see a little bit of growing pains here for Xertion. I mean, it's been a path of most resistance, I feel like, in a lot of these rounds to winning, but they are putting that streak together. They're also doing it on T side. And now it will be Xanteris to come under question. He can't help out his team.
Wicadia ahead of that. Here's the ops.
They just want to keep it so simple.
Doesn't look like anybody for Aurora is going to overstep this. They'll smoke it off. They'll keep MOUZ at bay. We haven't really seen Aurora test the long push either since that one round JL opened up. Early days, that one.
They're blocking both sides of the map, and so this will be more of a question. What does Xertion think that they want him to do? And honestly, I have the same question.
Molly up the catwalk to feign a bit of presence. It's not drawing all of Aurora over, but I do fear for this long-range B rotation, so the defenders are gonna have to deliver. Wicadia from a corner again, slips beyond.
That's so
now
good.
We've got a player on both sides, and JL kills Wicadia in that smoke. They just delete the B defense. Sure, a missed op shot on Zelix, a chance that could have been, as he'll survive with 7 health, and it's another moment for MOUZ to just squeak by.
I don't know what would have happened if JL didn't hit that bullet in the smoke. I feel like MOUZ still would have been able to solidify their spot. Their guy in the back of the site didn't get anything.
Now there's just a bit too much repetition in these little moments. These what could have beens, what should have beens for Aurora. You let 3 of these rounds slip through with what feels like very little fight. MOUZ are a round away from tying this.
My big concern is there was no actual risk in the CT defense. There was no lean anywhere. There was no early map control. They were smoking B tunnels. They smoked long. And it felt like they were just hoping that someone was going to put together an unbelievable hold. But instead, they ended up in vanilla positions. And so I think they were risking it just from the start. And even though MOUZ's call isn't like some kind of genius level play, they're going for a late B pop and waiting for the right opportunity. If they're going to get into the site, it's going to be a 2v5. Aurora were never at any point of the round seeking to get back information to find out that they were in a lower tunnel or tunnel stack. And so you can see the pressure affecting both of these teams now. But because Aurora did so well at the beginning of this game, even though MOUZ have made this comeback, their money's still good. They still have an op in play. They still have a 1-round lead. They have another chance to right their wrong. Psychologically, it feels like you want to start taking less risks towards the end of a game.
We're putting in amazing T-side right now, guys. Good job. Keep it up. Nice round, you stick. Nice round, Bottom.
Positivity for his team coming into round 22 and sounding really calm as well, which is something you'd love to hear. So far, it's been good enough, and Aurora don't wake up now. Start tapping into trying to win and not just slightly get it over the line.
Again, Exertion playing off timing. Xanteris is just stomping around, jumping away. I mean, this guy has had no impact.
Yeah, and there was just no vision on mid or anything like that. Op shot gets missed. Now they start eating flashes.
Woxic trying to get his line back, but so many flashes in that sequence. JL's going to use the space to move through. It's a 5v3, a back turned over, and MOUZ are going to now delete Aurora. This is such a turnaround.
Yeah, I mean, now Aurora are actually just entirely crumbling. This is just tragic for them. The money has finally been chewed through. I mean, in this spot, nobody had even been watching mid. There was a cat timing available. Yeah, Xertion was fast up into this position, but they had no credence for the thought that this was not a choke point that they had info on, that they had it covered. It was double smoked in mid. So he had to be aware of that.
And at the same time, he's running up from CT, gives his exact position away.
He had to be aware of that, and he wasn't.
And then as soon as he does get shot at, he just jumps and tries to spin in the air. Like Xanteris, I think, would like just plant your feet and at least try to shoot back. But he's just so caught off by it. So entirely caught off, so entirely swept under the rug.
Unfortunately for Xanteris, it's been the whole game hasn't been good. For the rest of the team, though, the concerning part is they were fantastic. Man, both your hands, bro. Well, it also looks like Aurora started to play with only 4 fingers.
6 rounds in a row out of MOUZ is a hell of a way to just dig in and give up no further ground. This was a 6-0 start Aurora. Aurora who has picked up both pistols of this map so far. Who were able to win that ridiculous round from Soulfly in the pit.
And this is the moment where you go, okay, we need to go back to, you know, the team that's playing to win. But at this point now, you've given over confidence to MOUZ. You've given over economy to MOUZ. You're allowing Xertion to start to believe in himself more in this debut playoffs as an IGL.
So while Xanteris still floats around towards that CT cross, it's gonna wind up being the scout to try to take the wider of the angles.
Not a single opening pick attempt here for the CT side.
Giving that space back over to MOUZ and just waiting in anticipation, but a missed chance with the scout. Xanteris could be tested yet again.
They have the minimal amount of stuff to defend against.
Utility comes over. We saw how good those flashes were. Again, nothing.
Totally outdueled.
Just has done nothing in terms of stopping this. It's going to be Wicadia instead to try to step up. Him and Soulfly tethered. Caught on that op peek out of Torzi. Xertion 20 health. Scout could clear this out, but the B-bomb site's already crumbled. And MOUZ have gone on a 7-round streak to take a 12th round first. Can you believe that the last round Aurora wins is that Hail Mary moment from Soulfly inside Long Pit, and nothing since.
Yeah, they went from embarrassing MOUZ to embarrassing themselves here, as MOUZ will reach 12 first. And look at Exertion, 23 frags on this round, another multi-kill for him, a T-side comeback called. He's been able to tap into full focus, and it's not taken the most extraordinary game plan. I think it's taken calmness and simplicity and trust, and they somehow managed to do this with a Torzi, you know, really having a B or C game at the moment.
And yet Xertion doing more of what he's done all event long. He enters playoffs as not only a new in-game leader, and for the first time today on a stage, but the 5th highest rated player at this event. Like, at what world does this individual level just take off the way it has? And so under pressure and under scrutiny and under a massive lead from Aurora, Xertion decides if no one else is going to step up into that gap, I will do this myself. All while Aurora fall apart here on Dust 2.
Oh, someone will be losing sleep tonight, that's for sure.
Another long fight for JL. He will lose that. Xanteris with his first kill in many rounds finally puts something up for MOUZ to have to handle. Xertion's going to take a ton of damage. Just because MOUZ have run these 7 rounds in a row doesn't mean Aurora won't force this to overtime.
Yeah, of course not. Now they maybe feel free now that they're finally not in the lead.
As psychological as that may sound, you find MOUZ signing up for a long fight and a world where you come through with man advantage, but you look at that radar and you can see there's a heavy lean going down. And we have seen MOUZ outposition themselves in the face of Aurora as this game has gotten closer. And so Torzy looks to take point, and Woxic can't immediately get that kill. So Zelek's actually clipping Badger in the background.
They just got info on 2 more players.
We get this pullback from Torzy slightly. Wakadia leans in. Oh, what is this?
He's falling and he gets that headshot.
Just like that, the man advantage evaporates. And seemingly their target falls on this A site. Santares, you've gotten one, but on 40 health, pressed up against this wall along the boxes, nothing further. Spinks is gonna serve as the jackknife to reopen this round, and Woxic is only working with 22 health, but he can make this happen still. Spinks hangs onto the flank as Soulfly starts stomping in. It's a triple out of Spinks and a masterclass of a comeback called by Xerxin. Unless, with 2 kills to his name, Woxic can extend play and give Aurora a chance to regain respect because they let this game go. He's gone unnoticed. But as that bomb continues to tick, he's just sitting here and waiting. He's got another smoke, but he's also got Torzy right behind him, who is here to end this. What a comeback out of MOUZ.
This is unbelievable for a T-side debut as an IGL in playoffs. They bring out JL, but it's really all about Xerxin.
She said she loves you. But she can't love me.
But I love you.
I won't play window anymore.
What's going on?
Play your role. 1xBet. On to the next one.
The human body was built to move. Not trapped at a desk in one singular posture for 12 hours a day. It's time your chair evolved. This is Secret Lab Titan Evo. Ergonomically engineered for you. Gamers, hybrid workers, artists. Backing your every move.
Well, we wondered what would happen when the resistible force would meet the movable object. And it happened. Aurora looking good until that MOUZ comeback. Some say a Xerxin masterclass, but maybe some on the desk think different. I don't know, guys. What do you make of that one?
An awesome way to start the playoffs in Astana, right?
Yeah.
You know, it was looking like it was
Great
going to be
game.
a very one-sided affair, which is not really how you want to kick things off here, but it quickly spiraled into a crazy comeback story for MOUZ Sports. You know, I was fully prepared to come to this desk and just talk about how uninspired MOUZ looked on their CT side. I mean, they were getting torn to shreds. What was even crazier about it was Xantares was largely absent in all of that. It was Wacadia, it was Soulfly dominating long A, dominating all the defensive positions that MOUZ were trying to hold, and jumping up to a massive lead where MOUZ only just kind of started recovering at the end of the first half.
I mean, you could see it in a glass half empty sort of way. I thought the T side of Aurora was fantastic.
Yes.
I thought they had a lot of different ideas, myriad openers, a lot of ways where they actually faked MOUZ out of their shoes. Even going back to the very pistol round between these two teams, the way that Aurora fakes long A out, is able to maneuver to the B site, walk into an empty bomb site. There were a few instances of that where Aurora completely had MOUZ off kilter. There were moments also where they had that kind of Joker player in the pit right there, which we just saw. I thought this game was done. I thought it was completely over. And then we saw Exertion just putting on a masterclass of calling and individual performance.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%, Mally. I mean, we kind of talked about how at times Aurora has looked a little bit one note, a little bit just kind of focusing on a death ball one direction. You're right. They made these really huge rerouting movements on their T side to catch some gaps and put some points on the board. And then even in the second half, it still looked bad for MOUZ because you have a situation where they just peek one by one on the pistol round, feeding Soulflies, P2K. You have a round where it's like a Hero M4 in pit that they don't fully clear, and they lose that round, and that's very embarrassing. But what I will say is this, man, is that when MOUZ finally got their economy settled and they finally got their feet underneath them, Xertion was charging for, man. We talked pregame about how he was kind of giving Zelix the ball and throwing support. No, he took the ball, bro. He was going out there. He was tearing shit up. He had some very good timings, like catching Xantares in weird rotations and just doing a very fantastic job calling his own number and leading by example.
I mean, the numbers don't lie. You can see them on your screen. You know, sometimes when you are the IGL, you know, you might not have the capability to pick up the ball and run with it like you're talking about. Xertion does. New to the role, we've been asking ourselves as analysts of the game, as students of the game, when is he going to fall off? When is the inevitable going to happen? And certainly in Astana for the whole tournament, it hasn't yet.
Well, I think what's exciting about Exertion slotting into this role, performing so well, is that I actually think that this has legs. Because oftentimes when we talk about new IGLs that are slotting in as teams are going for a firepower upgrade, I'm thinking, for example, Brolin when he came in at Cluj, how he still actually was a fragger. I'm even talking about when Electronic came in for the spring finals, we won the tournament with Na'Vi, but then they start to taper off. That's what happened with MOUZ as well. Their T-sides get a little bit worse. I don't really see this MOUZ team as being dependent on what Brolin was doing, and so I actually think that this is more sustainable than even going to the next tournament. It would not surprise me if they keep up this level of form for the next 5 events, 6 events.
Yeah, I think for us, like, we were kind of, you know, easing ourselves into being excited about MOUZ, right? I think one of the first things we identify is they haven't lost anything yet, right? You know, sometimes there is that lack of hangover effect where you lose your IGL and you kind of feel like you're just a little bit lost. But I think with their coach being so involved in the system, I think you're right. I think Xertion hasn't skipped a beat. In fact, I think their mid-round reactions are better, if I'm 100% honest. I think the swings that they're doing are great. And, you know, kind of flipping the script, though, and all the things that MOUZ did great, I have to say this. It's like, you know, Aurora really sat back and did not try to be proactive and disrupt MOUZ Sports at all. You know, they really made it kind of easy on MOUZ to take map control and set up their plays. I think that was a problem. And look, Xantares is not beating the playoff allegations right now. This guy has had a sub-1 rating in so many playoffs this event, you know, throughout this year. And that's troubling because he's supposed to be your star guy. And if you can't rely on him in a moment like that, that's a problem.
Well, to that point, Dust, we can actually listen in to what was happening in that round when MOUZ got it over the line.
I will take it, sorry. I will take it.
Take long. Adam, flash me shot.
One is close, mid. Flash short.
Yes, I'm ready. Dead.
Nice. One more city. Full city, full city. Yeah. And
Okay, I'll go
Santares
below.
is somewhere.
You come short, guys.
I'm coming. Come, Adam. Come, Adam.
One city.
Can we go
You
together,
have molly
please?
for
Can
city,
you go
Adam.
together?
You have molly for city, Adam.
I'm flashing above. I'm molly city.
Don't see ramp. Care
both
side. I
from
think
there.
Joker, maybe. Care Joker.
Nice.
Wait, Joker,
Both
wait,
sick,
Joker,
both
wait,
city,
Joker.
both
I have
sick, both
Joker. I have
city.
Joker, maybe.
Nobody city side. Both
I
sides.
have
Sound,
City,
sound.
City.
Touch us. I'm planting
That's
sound.
Nice.
Plus city.
I
smoke side.
Very close.
I have the jump. He could have sneak ramp, Lotan. Okay,
He has your jump. He has your jump, Adam. Focus on your ramp.
Yeah,
Close
city,
ramp.
Walking up ramp. Now he's ramp. Now
He's ramp.
ramp.
Lotan, go left side. He's ramp left side, or
Yeah,
I have it.
I'm holding.
Can you pick on me?
No, I'm holding fully.
He's in the open. You're above fighting, it's fine. He's ramp hiding, he's behind the smoke, he will wait the smoke.
And they know exactly what they just did in that moment. I mean, I have to say, previous iterations of MOUZ, are they that cool, calm, and collected? Are the levels of communication there? Historically, you would assume no, because I can't remember the last time I saw MOUZ win a game like that.
Can I point out one thing?